Hey everyone, it's Katya with Hindustan Astrology here, and I'm doing this month's forecast video, which is February 2025, at my new office at the Bloomington Fountain Square Mall, which is downtown on the square, and it's super easy to get to. We have a brand new parking garage that has a skywalk over. There's parking around the square. And so you can come and get in-person Vedic astrology, tarot, and psychic medium readings on Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of every week, of course, except for holidays, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And if you stay tuned, in the next video, I'm going to show you a little look around my office. I am sharing it with the Bloomington Massage and Bodywork Studio. My dear friend Carmela has invited me into her space, sharing it with me. And so we're going to give it 3 months and see how it goes. So far, so good. We have a little entryway where I have a bookcase up with my products. So I'm so excited to share this with you guys, and I'll be doing a lot more videos from here. You'll see with my background, I'm in the office. So without further ado, let's talk about this month of February. Okay, you guys, this month is going to be a doozy. We have the start of the buildup of planets in Pisces. And so, I was doing some research on the upcoming eclipse, which is March 29th, the solar eclipse, where we have like 7 planets in Pisces. It's going to be insane. And I kept going back like every 18 and a half years to find when was the last time we had a stellium in Pisces like this. And the last time was like 1839. And it wasn't the exact same configuration. I think K2 was there. I'll have to look again. I mean, it's going to be in my video, so you'll see it. But the point is that we have not seen this kind of energy in a while. And so let's talk about it. Because right off the bat, February 1st, we have a stellium of Rahu, Neptune, Venus, and the moon is there in Pisces for 2.5 days. So, yeah, and it's at 3 degrees 56 minutes of Pisces. Now, there is a fixed star. Remember, guys, the stars move backwards, right? And we are talking Vedic astrology here. We are not talking Western astrology, okay? So just suspend your knowledge of Western because, even though we use the same planets and the same terms, they don't mean the same thing in both systems. If you don't know what your Vedic sign is, head over to my website, which is hindustanastrology.com, and click on the chart calculator, and there you can get your Vedic birth chart and your D9 chart, which is your Navamsha. Okay, so planets move backwards. There is a fixed star at 4.5 degrees of Pisces, and it is called Sheet. It is one of the 4 stars of the Pegasus constellation, 4 brightest stars in the body of Pegasus. And this, it can bring great oratory skills. It can give incredible visionary art and philosophy to someone. But, and it is barely into Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is about having eloquence, being able to speak in front of people, right? Kind of being like, the person that speaks for your people, like a street rapper. This is Uttara Bhadrapada energy. And so having the fixed star Sheet here, and all these planets piling up on top of it, Sheet is, well, it's not a very fun star. Even though it means these great things, on a practical level, a lot of times it talks about great tragedy, because even though Pisces is a spiritual sign, probably the most spiritual of the 12 signs, that spirituality is bought at a very high price, and that it is the price of going through incredible tragedy and trauma. And so, you know, Rahu, Neptune, Venus exalted in Pisces, this all talks about relationships, love, and the arts. So, you know, we could, you know, see some people, if this is an important point in your chart, people could really be getting hurt at this time, falling in love too quickly, you know, rose-colored glasses, right? We talked about this last month. I would just say take everything with a grain of salt. Remember that this is with the fixed star sheet, and that we could be setting ourselves up for a downfall if we're not careful. But on the positive note, it's great for art, especially, you know, Venus rules photography, acting, film. Neptune. Neptune rules those things, and Venus is about the arts. And so Neptune is actually a higher octave of Venus, so it's about music. We could have some beautiful music being released at this time. We could have some beautiful films, photography, you know, especially I'm thinking the James Webb telescope will most likely be sending back some incredible images this week. I think that's what's going to come out of this, because there's this kind of otherworldliness to Neptune. So yeah, just, you know, be cautious, but don't forget to dream. That's the thing, you know. Don't forget to believe in love, even if your heart's getting broken right now. Just, you know, yeah, so. Now, another aspect to this is that Venus, now she's in Pisces, exalted. She's in a Parivartana Yoga with Jupiter, and he's still retrograde until February 4th, so that makes him stronger, okay? So I went over this video yesterday for the new moon. Pay attention to what houses these Parivartana Yogas this yoga is happening, because there will be an exchange. You know, both Venus and Jupiter, yes, they are spiritual gurus, but they also represent the things that money can buy, right? Mercury is legal tender itself, but Venus and Jupiter represent material things that we can buy. So, you know, there could be a big boon that comes to you if this is happening between the right houses, okay? So this Parivartana Yoga is going to happen the whole time. Venus is in Pisces because Jupiter doesn't go into Gemini for a couple months. So it's going to be pretty strong energy. That's why I'm talking a lot about this. I really want you to focus upon your higher ideals. Write down what you want, right? What are you good at, okay? What are you passionate about? What steps are you going to take to make those passions become a reality? That is the best way to utilize this energy. Don't just focus on romance, focus on your dreams. Okay, next up, February 4th at 4:41 p.m. EST, we have Jupiter is finally going direct. Yes, he has been retrograde for quite some time, and, you know, just makes him stronger, right? He is going to go at 17 degrees 4 minutes of Taurus. He will be in Rohini Nakshatra, and Rohini is the star of ascent. They're very lusty, very passionate. They go after what they want. They love to achieve, and they love to taste the fruits of their labor, right? The fruits of life. You know, they love to cook. They love to indulge in things like, you know, perfume, aromatherapy. But they're very much about climbing that hill and getting to a place of achievement. Taurus is about material reality, right? It is about money. So Rohini people can oftentimes be very good at making money, you know. But having Jupiter go direct here in this nakshatra, you know, he's in the middle of Taurus, so we have another, you know, couple months till he goes into Gemini. So really use this energy between Venus and Jupiter to achieve what you want in this life, right? If you feel like you've been stuck, you've got to use that push. You know, Rohini is Aldebaran. That is the red eye of Taurus the bull. And so this is, you know, yes, they can see red. They can have tempers here, absolutely, like a bull. But they more use the energy of the bull to push themselves forward. So you do that too. In February 11th at 2:26 p.m., we have Mercury entering Aquarius, an air sign, right? Aquarius is about pouring the water of healing water over humanity, right? Mercury here, Mercury is what? Communication. He is, you know, about travel and knowledge. And in Aquarius, he has very forward-thinking ideas. Now, Mercury will be with Saturn here. So that can kind of put a little damper on our speech, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. Right now, it seems like a lot of people are speaking without thinking. So I would say just, you know, it's probably good. Use the caution of Saturn to temper your words so that you don't fly off the handle, right? Next up, February 12th at 8:54 a.m. EST, we have our full moon for February. Now, this is going to be at the end of Cancer. It is at 29 degrees 53 minutes of Cancer, Ashlesha Nakshatra. Now, up until I think it's like June, was it April to June? I think it's June. We have all the full moons are like at the end of their sign. They're like 29 degrees or so. This talks about endings, completions, but in Cancer and in all the water signs, this is the Gandanta point, right? From 26.4 to 3.2 of the next fire sign. This is where water is going into fire, and it can be very dangerous. It's called Gandanta because we are unraveling a karmic knot that we have to understand before we go on to the next cycle. But what it does is it brings up all of this stuff from the past, and then we're feeling very emotionally overwhelmed, right? And so Gandanta is actually associated with drowning in our emotions, but also actual drownings. So if you are around water on this full moon, I'm going to say, please be careful if you're on a boat, if you have a child, you know, just have eyes in the back of your head and just, you know, be careful. Now, emotionally, we might be feeling a little out of control, especially with all this stuff in Pisces we just went through, right? So probably by this full moon, you're starting to process what happened from February 1st to the 7th. That's going to be the tightest conjunction of those planets. So yeah, I would just say, you know, definitely on this full moon, be careful. Now I'm looking at the chart right now, and you know, Mars is still retrograde. He is 12 houses from the moon. So for everybody in general, you're going to have people behind your back that are talking about you, people that don't have the best of intentions for you. So just be aware. If you think someone is gossiping about you, they probably are. And this is the 12th, okay, so this is right before Valentine's Day. But having all this stuff in Pisces for Valentine's Day, I think it's really going to um, cast this, rose-colored glasses over us, and things are going to be more romantic. If you are in a stable relationship, this could be really good. You could also find out things coming out of the closet, secrets, especially if like you are an Aries rising and this Pisces is your 12th house. On this full moon, you might find out some secrets about your significant other that you didn't know about, okay? Also for Virgo. But, here's the thing. From Washington, D.C., the full moon is taking place in the 6th house of the day. And so this shows that, especially open enemies to the United States government are going to be really showing their fangs, so to speak. And because the ascendant is Aquarius, Saturn is literally like right on the ascendant for this full moon. It kind of, is asking us to approach things from a more mature perspective, right? Like I said, Gandanta moon is going to make us kind of feel emotionally out of control, but Saturn on the ascendant, at least for people in the United States, this is going to, calm some of the anger down, I think, even though it's a full moon. And Mercury's there. So people will definitely be communicating in a slower way, which is good because things have been crazy since January 20th. Yeah, and, for the United States, the Parivartana between Venus and Jupiter is between the 2nd and the 4th house. So this is money, family, 2nd house, 4th house is the homeland. And so I think we're going to hear a lot about food as well, food prices and things finally coming down. But in general, Ashlesha is about, it's the clinging star, right? And Ashlesha's lesson is non-attachment. And, this is the claw of the crab that wants to latch onto things, right? This is Acubens. So learning to disengage from the drama and not relying upon other people for happiness. I think that's going to be the big lesson for this full moon. Yeah. And moon's in its own sign, making it very strong. So if you go outside and see the full moon, if it's happening, well, it's happening at 8:54 a.m. So you'd have to be in California or Hawaii to still see the moon at night. So anyway, I feel like, this is going to be definitely like a pushing forward kind of energy full moon. So just sit with your emotions, discard what's not good for you, and keep your eyes on the prize. Now later that morning at 11:26 a.m. EST, we have the sun entering Aquarius, so he will be with Saturn and Mercury now. Now, Sun Saturn, of course, it happens once every year, right? But Sun is the father of Saturn, and so when these two come together, like in a birth chart, you know that this person has had issues with their father and has rebelled against their father's authority, okay? So if you think, what's happening with, what's going on in the United States with the new administration, if you think things have been heated up till now, just wait until the 12th when this full moon comes. Even though the full moon is, a couple hours earlier than the sun entering Saturn, that energy is still there. They're very close. So I think this is going to raise a lot of, tension for the United States against the government, because our moon is there. The United States moon is in Aquarius. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And also, happy birthday to all of the Aquarians out there. Again, this is Vedic Sidereal Astrology. Head on over to hindustanastrology.com to get your chart calculator to see what you are, okay? So don't try to use your Western signs. It won't make sense. And there's really not a lot going on between the 12th and the 23rd. But on the 23rd, we have Mars finally going direct. Yes, woo! I don't know about you, but it's been, for me, I'm a Cancer ascendant, and so having Mars, and my Mars is in my first house, so having Mars go from my ascendant back to my 12th, and then it's going to go back to my ascendant. I've been dealing with a fever, like this low-grade fever, for over a month now. So, you know, Mars on the head, Mars on the ascendant gives fever, or it heats up your head. You could, you know, lose hair eventually. And I would just say, you know, it's happening at 22 degrees 48 minutes of Gemini Punarvasu Nakshatra. This is the star of renewal. And I feel like, you know, I'm glad it didn't go back into Ardra. That would not have been fun. But in Punarvasu, this is about hope, optimism, looking to the future, right? And so Mars is the soldier, and where he sits in a chart, he goes to battle for you. And so I feel like he is actively here trying to bring back the happiness and the sunlight and the hope and the optimism, because Punarvasu is ruled by Jupiter. So that is a positive thing. Okay, there's two more major aspects for this month, and they are both on February 27th. And the first is Mercury enters Pisces. But guess what? He's debilitated there. But Venus is exalted in Pisces, and she's there. So they're doing what is called a Nichabanga Raja Yoga. They are exchanging signs. Venus is, no, I'm sorry, they're not exchanging signs. That's Parivartana. They are canceling each other, right? Canceling the debilitation, because Venus is there exalted, Mercury is there debilitated, and so she is kind of giving her good energy to Mercury and bringing out his best side. And what I've found with my clients is that if they are musicians and they have Mercury in Pisces, oh boy, they are especially talented. Yes. So Mercury doesn't think very straight in Pisces, right? He kind of has foggy mind, maybe dyslexic, has learning difficulties, right? Because they don't think linearly. Mercury in Pisces thinks kind of in a spiral fashion, right? Kind of loop-de-loop all over the place, but they're super creative. So, you know, having Venus and Rahu and Neptune there, now Mercury's there, oh my goodness, you better believe there's going to be some incredible music coming out at this time, you guys. So always look to the positive of things. You know, you cannot control the world. It's going to do what it's going to do. How you respond to it is what you can control. So if you're getting overwhelmed by the things around you, I want you to get out your favorite music. I want you to go see your favorite band, go to a club, you know, just immerse yourself and bathe yourself in higher frequencies. That's really the best way to deal with this kind of energy, okay? Now that was happening at 1:14 p.m. on the 27th, but at 7:46 p.m. EST, we have our new moon of the month. It's happening at 15 degrees 28 minutes of Aquarius, Shatabhishak Nakshatra, and this is the 100 healers, and this is also where the United States moon is. So yes, I feel like not just medical breakthroughs could come out during this new moon, but also we're going to find out a lot more about what they're doing with our space programs, what was going on with the drones, you know, anything ET, UFO related is also Shatabhishak because it's the stargazer, okay? Now let's take a look at the chart. So moon is with Saturn, And we know that this is a damper on our emotions, and you know, it can ground us actually, which may not be a bad thing, but Sun is there as well. So, you know, in Aquarius, it really is about focusing on marginalized communities. It's about, you know, I really think we're going to hear a lot about, you know, what's going on with immigration at this time. And for the United States, the ascendant is actually Leo. So this is putting it in the 7th house. And, you know, 7th house for like a country is the opponent. So there's going to be a lot of people going against the government during this new moon. I mean, they already are now, but, you know, you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, so, but yeah, you know, K2 is in the 2nd house for this new moon. And, you know, that can definitely bring up some issues with money. Be careful of overspending. Be careful of overeating or eating foods that you know are not good for you, that you're allergic to. And, you know, there's kind of a loss of family, or even a sense of family that you could be feeling during this new moon. Now that Pisces stellium is in the 8th house, making it super potent for achieving, you know, higher states of consciousness, going into trance, altered states of consciousness, and also, you know, 8th house is, I call it, well, it's, you know, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? And so it's substances that can alter how we perceive reality. So if you are going into some kind of a healing program, this would support it, absolutely, because the moon of where it's at as well. And Jupiter's direct now, and we had Uranus cross over into, no, Uranus is at the very end of Aries for this new moon. I misspoke. So Uranus is at 29 degrees, 24 minutes of Aries, Kritika Nakshatra. It's getting ready to go into Taurus. So Uranus is going to be really felt. And you know, today I'm making this, it's the 29th, no, it's the 30th today, January 30th. And I woke up and we found out about the plane crash in DC, and that was happening right as Uranus was stationing to go direct in Aries. And I remember saying we're going to have some accidents, maybe even airplanes, because Uranus is associated with airplanes. So it's a very potent degree, and I feel like this new moon is going to bring out some more information about what happened during that time. And then, let's see, it is... So it's not for another 2 weeks that Uranus goes over into Taurus. So we're definitely going to be feeling that Uranian energy during the new moon for February, okay? So that's what I have for this month. You know, we are building up to the eclipses next month, and even if you think they're not going to affect you, they always affect you. I mean, we can't get away from it. So just, you know, try to lay low. Don't push boundaries too hard, because you may have to go back and redo, or things just kind of fall apart around eclipse time. So we start eclipse season with our new moon, which is the 27th. So yeah, just, you know that 2 weeks before the lunar eclipse season starts, and then it goes until 2 weeks after the solar eclipse, which won't be until April. So basically from the end of February till April, things are just going to be up in the air, okay? I hope that helps you guys. Of course, if you want to come see me for a reading in person, you can. I love in-person readings. We can really, and I've been using my tuning forks also during readings because I do Reiki here as well. But the tuning forks during a reading really help to recalibrate somebody if they're having an emotional release or getting triggered by something. I put the tuning forks on them and wow, it totally shifts their perspective. And of course, online, now I am getting a new website. It should be done here within a week or so. And it's going to make the booking process much easier. If you have any issues, you can always send me a message on the little blue square that's in the bottom right-hand corner of the website. So I would love to see you in a reading sometime. And until then, namaste, and I hope that you guys are all doing well. See you later. Bye.